All right. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Living Blessed, the podcast. I'm your host, Jovan J. Palmer. Of course, we have special people who tell very vulnerable and transparent moments of their lives. I have a special guest who finally made it to the podcast because of me, not him.
Oh, I was waiting for him to tell y'all.
Yeah, not him. He had nothing to do with it. It was all my fault. I needed a mental break. Next week we were gonna record, but another meeting ahead of that got in the way. And then we finally got Kirkland here.
Finally.
Finally.
It's happened to me right in front of your faces. And I just can't describe it. I told you 3rd time's the charm.
It is. Mm-hmm. I'm excited for the episode, man. Also, tell us who you are for the people who don't know you, or for the people who do know you but don't fully know you yet.
Know me yet. Okay. My name is Kirkland. I am the owner of XL Tribe, which is a media brand that's geared towards helping big and tall men feel better, dress better, look better, and just walk into their shit. Step into their shit.
I love it.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, because there's not really much of a space for big and tall men.
Nope.
Especially when it comes to like shopping. I hate shopping because it's hard for me to find anything in my clothes. My size, should I say.
But you get into an extra large now. You can find everything now.
Finally.
Finally.
Finally. But I still have issue with my pants.
Oh, yes.
So my pants I have a big issue with because of my thighs. I have very big, thicker thighs. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I've been following you and following your journey on the whole XL Tribe movement that you've been doing and helping, styling, because I'm not the best stylist. My sister I have to get approval from her. I'll go to her room hey.
You need your stylist's approval to wear that?
Yeah. Oh, this today?
No, I'm saying
anything that looks like super top model fashion for me that anybody sees.
Oh, she
more
did
likely
that.
she has something to do with it.
Okay.
Or I might I have a slight fashion sense and I can piece something together real quick.
I'm pretty sure you have a fashion sense. You just haven't tapped into it yet.
There it is.
Because everyone has a fashion sense. Because fashion really is just an outward expression of what you feel on the inside. So you have a fashion sense. You just haven't tapped into it yet.
Okay.
Just like your power.
I like. I see where you're going with this. I see where you're going with this. All right. So Kirkland, where are you from? I love to kind of find out where people are from and kind of get, because I'm on this journey of trying to see, does the state shape you, or is it the family that shapes you, or where you from shapes you? Like, where are you from?
I was born in Brooklyn, raised in Queens.
Okay.
And then I moved around a lot. Okay. So one thing I never did personally was pick up things.
What do you mean pick up things?
Like, you know how, if New York, there's a cultural presence about New York.
Yeah,
so usually when you see
New
Yorkans, they have a walk, a swag, a talk about them.
I would have never guessed you were from New York.
Exactly. I was also raised in Miami, Florida.
Really?
Exactly. You wouldn't know that either. I don't pick up things. That was on purpose.
Because you answered my question then.
What?
Where you from?
It can shape you, but it actually did shape me. But because I didn't want it to shape me, it shaped me.
Why didn't you want it to shape you?
Because when I was growing up, one of the things that I saw in school, I saw the kids pick on the other Jamaican kids, and I never wanted to seem Jamaican. So part of that, part of my journey was me dumbing myself down so that I didn't seem Jamaican. So I always wanted to just be the neutral kid. And that's how school was for me, just coasting through. I wasn't in any of the groups. I didn't sit in any tables. Just let me get my work done and get through 12th grade. I don't got time for this shit. That was me through school. And that's how school went for me.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I didn't want it to shape me, but not knowing that was not good. Mm-hmm. But as a natural defense mechanism, that's what I saw, and that's what I didn't want the kids to make fun of me. So it does shape you in a way, but I had the adverse effect on me.
So how did you get yourself to a point of where you've gotten to? So it's you didn't want to be picked on because you were Jamaican. Was it because of the accent, or was it because?
Yes, it was always the accent. You was gonna hear the boat jokes. You was gonna hear the bubbles. Of course, I was poor, so you was gonna hear the bubble jokes, which means like you don't have on like. Actually, if I were in school, these would be bubbles.
Oh, so it's like the off-brand
stuff. That's what they call bubbles in Miami.
Got you.
So you didn't want to be wearing any of that. And so I had to find a way to navigate my space. So I figured if I just curl myself up, make myself really small, no one would see me, and I would just get me out of here.
Now, what was the push for just wanting to get out of there?
Well, life for me was really hard growing up.
Okay.
So I tried. That was always my thing, was making myself small. Like when I was a kid, I forgot what TV show that was. I think it's who has invisibility? Is it Flash Man?
I didn't watch.
One of them had invisibility, and that's the gift I always wanted to have because I didn't want people to see me.
Why not?
Because if you see me, that means you have to see me, right? Okay. So it's funny now that everyone sees me because I'm so seen, but back then, like you wouldn't see me. Like I'd be one of those people who'd be in a room and we'd be in this room for hours and you would never see me. And then such and such later would be like, "Oh, do you remember that? Yeah, you was there. Yeah, I don't remember." That would be me because I'd make myself unmemorable. Wow. Because it was easier to be like that because as a kid, I always knew, for better or worse, I always knew I was gay. So that wasn't anything for me to figure out, but I learned really quickly that the world thought that was a problem.
So as a kid, you already knew that you were gay?
Already. Like, right about walking and talking age.
There's going to probably some times you need to correct me because I'm not always politically correct on terminology, especially when it comes to the LGBTQ community. So if I say anything off, there's no offense to anybody. No offense to anybody. I'm still learning.
Okay.
Still learning. So you said you knew you were always gay from when? Like what age?
5, 4-ish.
And how'd you know? As a kid, like how do you know that you're gay?
Because you know that you feel some type of way. You don't have a name for it. You don't have a language for it. You just know that everyone else is clearly interested in what you're not interested in. That's all you know. Okay. Because all the little boys are playing with the little girls in preschool, but you looking like them. Ugh, why are you doing it? Ew. Like that's your thought. So you know something's different, but you don't know what. Like you don't know why or what it is. And that's the thing about growing up in a Jamaican household. In most black households, you learn pretty quickly that being gay ain't cool. Okay. So through that process, that's how I started to make myself invisible because I didn't want people to see that.
So you didn't want people to see that you were gay?
Yes.
So you made yourself invisible to pretty much like, I'm here, but I'm not here. I'm blending in with the walls, the curtains.
Yep. Whatever I can blend in with.
This is my space. So at big functions, you're more so on the outskirts.
Yep.
Watching in. Wow.
Always. Until this age. Like until my late 20s, early 30s.
How old are you now?
I'm 33.
You sure?
I don't know.
What year were you born?
33. Okay. I just turned 33. That's why I don't remember.
Happy birthday. Happy belated birthday. You. So, Invisible Man. I think that's going to be the title of this episode.
Invisible Man. That's some good shit.
So, as a kid, you said, you knew you were gay. And then, growing up in a Jamaican household, in a black household, is it accepted?
No. It's like stigma on top of stigma on top of stigma on top of stigma. Like, I feel like
Stigma 1 is what?
Black.
Stigma 2?
Jamaican.
Stigma 3?
Then the gay.
And is there a stigma 4?
Oh yeah, I'm loud.
So black, Jamaican, gay, and loud.
Oh, I'm sorry, male. Let's add male.
And male.
Yes.
So there are 5 stigmas right now.
Yep.
And in your household, what are your parents saying?
My father is starting to appear in my life at some point. I don't know what age that is. 8, 9-ish, maybe 10-ish. Starting to appear. And it's starting to make a reference to me. Actually, no, I heard it before that. Actually, let's go all the way back. Let's go back to like maybe 7 or 8. Before I even met my father, I started to hear it from my grandparents first.
Oh, because the older generation.
Right. I started to hear from them first.
What are you hearing?
Why are you walking like that? Why you talk like that? Those are the two I can like outwardly remember, like off the top of my head. Why are you walking like that? Why are you talking like that? Is the first thing. Oh, why you don't have no little girlfriends? That was the one. I don't know. I'm 7. Why do I need a girlfriend? But you know.
Yeah.
That's where it started, actually. It started with where your little girlfriend.
Okay.
And then, oh, I'm sorry. Plural. Sorry. Where your little girlfriends. Let's add all the S's in there. Because I should have had multiples at that point. I'm 7. Might have Andrew.
Is that like a Jamaican thing or something?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. I've heard it before in non-Jamaican households. I don't know where that comes from, but I've definitely heard it before. Gotcha. So I think that's where it started first. And then it started with why you walk like that, why you talk like that. And then as I'm getting older, there's no bass being added to my voice. So I'm 9, 10, still having no bass. So then that's when my father starts appearing and he's making me act a certain way, making me not be loud. That's why I really learned to minimize myself.
So was they like, did they bring your dad in as far as like, because he was just out wherever he may have been?
No, actually, that was my idea.
To have your dad in?
Yes, that was my idea. Oh. So what happened was I realized at a really young age that for whatever reason, and I don't know, but now that you and I are talking, maybe a part of me is learning that if my dad is present, maybe he'll help me not be so gay. Actually, now I'm talking it through with you, I'm thinking about that thought. Maybe that's what it was, but whatever the case was, in my mind, I knew that I needed a father figure. So I asked my mom to let me go move with my father.
So you're where at this time?
I'm in Miami.
And your dad
at
is
this
where?
time in New York.
Okay.
So I asked her to move there. Now at this time I'd only seen him for 2 summers, and somehow decided from those 2 summers that I wanted to go stay with this man full time. Worst decision of my motherfucking life.
Why?
I mean, just tragic.
Why?
Because I mean, it went from roses and cotton candies to like military drills and like do 20 push-ups every day. If you Jamaican, you know what Cersei tea is. That shit is nasty.
Who?
Bush. Okay, so we drink, Jamaicans drink and eat things like from the earth. So one of the things we drink is called bush tea or Cersei tea. It's a plant that grows. So Jamaicans generally have them in their yard that they grow. So you take the bush off, put it in the pot, and you boil it, and then you drink the water from the content. Or if you have orange peel, like we peel the orange and then let the orange dry and then boil it and drink that. So you have to drink one of those teas every morning. And then it's the constant beratement of my sexuality, and I'm literally 12 and trying to figure out the world. What are you doing, sir? There's no guidance. He's not shaping me or molding me. He is actually in his image, not in what's best for me, he thinks best for me. And so that's around the time where I really, really learned to be invisible, because there was no other way that I was gonna make it through being seen all the time. So that's kind of where that comes from.
So I got a question. Were you trying to like force yourself to not be gay?
There was a long time. Yeah, there was. But it wasn't because of me. It was because of, I did not want to deal with the scrutiny from my father anymore. It wasn't something I actually wanted to do. I just wanted to not be scrutinized. I didn't want, like, I didn't want to feel threatened anymore.
Got you.
That was it. Not because of something I wanted to do. It's just, I was like, man, well, if we're going to make it through this, it felt, I ain't going to lie to you. This is probably a lie. My sister going to kill me. But it felt like a concentration camp to me. I ain't even going to lie to you. This is what it felt like at 12 and 13 and 14 and 15. It felt like a concentration camp.
The whole time living with your dad?
Yeah.
So how are you as a 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old boy navigating in this new space of yours where you're wanting your dad to make you more stern or just whatever, more stern or just more?
I just wanted a relationship.
You want a relationship with your dad, really, but it turns out that it's the opposite of what you asked for.
It's so much opposite. Like, I mean, I don't know what I would have turned out like staying with my mother, but that was the worst idea of my life.
So during this time, these few years, what is your exit strategy, or do you have an exit strategy, or
no?
Is there a
well, yes, actually, I had an exit strategy. All right, this was my exit strategy. So this is how I got through, right? I took 2 extra classes every semester, and I tried to do 2 activities. So I did track and I did volleyball. Those are my 2 extracurricular activities on top of my extra classes. So my goal was to be busy from the time I woke up to the time I went to sleep.
Got you.
So that you only had to see me.
You're waking up and going to sleep.
That's it. Like, I didn't want you to see me no more than twice a day. Because any more than that, you was going to start
coming drill sergeant.
Yeah, and I couldn't deal with that. I wasn't that kind of kid.
Got you.
I needed nurturing and loving. I'm not the like, do that. Like, I'm not that kid because I'm not going to respond to you. I'm going to be like, what are you doing?
Right.
Why are you doing that?
So now that you've gotten this, you're kind of like pushing yourself, like you're up in the mornings, going to school, throughout school, activity, bed, same thing over and over and over. Are you getting tired at any point? Are you saying, you know what, I just can't live like this?
No, because really for me, there were glimmers of hope because what was happening, I was getting older. So I knew about emancipation. So that was one of my exit strategies. If all else failed, I was going to emancipate myself.
Wait, you were going to emancipate yourself?
Oh, I was. Oh, I was going to do that because there was no way I was going to live like that. So that was my exit strategy. If all of my other plans failed, that was going to be my last strategy to emancipate myself. Because I had to get out of there.
And how were you going to do this?
Listen, I don't know about that part. I don't know how I was going to do it, but I knew it exists because I had looked it up. And I saw that other 16-year-olds had gotten emancipation from their parents. And I knew that I needed to technically be an adult in order to do certain things, like get a car, get a better apartment, things like that. I knew that stuff. So my first time trying to have an exit strategy was trying to go to school. I wanted to go to the Harvey Milk School of Arts. That was my first time trying to have an exit strategy. And when my father found out that Harvey Milk was gay, that was shut all the way down instantly.
Wait, Harvey Milk is a gay school?
It's not. It's just the man, Harvey Milk, is a man. He's gay. He's deceased now, but he was gay. And that was shut down. So it was my first time trying to make my exit strategy. I'm trying to think what my second time was. because I think I was already like 14 at that time. Mm-hmm. I don't know what my next exit strategy was, but the next summer, I left.
Back to Miami?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know why it never occurred to me the whole time to call my mama. I don't know why.
I was going to ask, like...
I never once thought to do that. I don't know.
That was my next question was, like...
No, because see, like, do you watch the show Ruthless? By Tyler Perry? Oh,
no.
Okay. So in the show, to me, the people, they can be free. But when someone has your mind, you don't know that you're free.
Yeah.
There's no physical chains on you, but in your mind there is.
Got you.
And that's why it never occurred to me to like call my mom and be like, yeah, this man is abusing me. Can I go home? Like, never thought
so
once.
For how many years? What, 4 or 5 years?
About 4 and a half.
You went through mental abuse.
Yes. And physical. He beat the shit out of me.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
For what reasons?
One time in particular, in my middle school yearbook, someone wrote, "Stay loud." And he thought that was not appropriate for somebody to write in a man's yearbook. So he beat me for that. Mm-hmm. And I stayed loud. Fuck
you. Okay, so you stayed loud. Middle school, he beats you because someone said to stay loud. Because that's just the personality of Kirkland. Mm-hmm. And so I'm assuming, and correct me if I'm wrong, that your dad just had a really big issue with you being gay.
Yes, that was his number one issue with me.
So in a sense, you put yourself in this situation.
I did. I really did.
And you can't get yourself out of it because you're mentally tied to your dad.
Yep. And I don't know that I'm free.
You don't know that you're free. So it's like slavery in a sense. We're free because the Emancipation Proclamation. And you're the people in Texas who just don't know they're free.
Yep. I'm those people.
Wow.
And literally in the summer, I don't know what year that was. The summer when I was turning 14, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I was turning 14 or 15 was the summer that I realized, wait a minute. My father was leaving. And I am faced with, like, I have to leave at this point, but it's not on my own volition. And so I called my mom and I was like, hey, I need to go home because my father left. And at the time I was staying with...
Father left where?
He left. I don't know where he is at this time. He's gone.
So you were in New York with your dad?
Well, I lived with my dad and my brothers and my sister and their mother.
Okay.
Right. So my father leaves and their mom is in the house with 4 teenage kids. So they needed to move. They couldn't afford to take care of me because my father was gone. So that's kind of what was my freedom. And so I called my mom and I was like, hey, I need to come home. My dad left. I don't know where he's at. And so my mom sent me a plane ticket. I think I was on JetBlue. And I came home. And then the day I came home, I was like, what was holding me the whole time? I don't know. And that I think now that I'm thinking about it, like, what was holding me? There was absolutely nothing holding me there. I could have called my mom years before. I just...
mentally enslaved.
I didn't think I was free.
Dang. So your dad just disappears?
Yep.
To this day?
No, not to this day. I know where he's now, but not to this day. But for many years, maybe 7 or 8 years.
He's just gone.
Gone.
No smoke signal, no letter, no text.
Not, at least not
to you.
Not to me.
So you back to Miami.
Yes, I'm back in Fort Lauderdale now.
In Fort Lauderdale. What's going on then?
I'm graduating high school finally. I'm getting a job. Well, by the way, I had a job in New York. That was another way that I was getting my freedom. I had a job. Actually, I had the most interesting job ever. You know those people twirling the signs?
Yeah.
I used to do that. But what I was advertising, let me tell you how old this is. I was advertising for Singular to let you know that texts were no longer per character anymore. That's what was on the sign that I was flipping. That's how old that was ago.
Dang, that was like Singular. I had Singular back in high school. So that was back in like 2000.
Yep. Mm-hmm. That was my first job. And then my second job was I would take that money, flip it. See, I've always been an entrepreneur. That's one thing about me. I've always been an entrepreneur. I was taking that money and then I was reinvesting it into candy at the Rite Aid that I would sell at school and double my money.
So you've always been an entrepreneur?
Yep, always.
All right. So mom flies you to Fort Lauderdale. Mm-hmm. Finally had graduated high school, you say.
Yep.
Got a job. Mm-hmm. What's going on next?
In that time was kind of when my mom started to figure out that I was gay.
Oh, so she didn't know?
I mean, moms always know.
Yeah.
But like, not from my mouth. Actually, she never found out from me, actually. A friend of mine was over and was talking about him dating a guy, and then I didn't know she was home, and then he said, when are you gonna get a boyfriend? And then that's when my mom came out the room and was like, I can't say that on here, but that's when my mom started being verbally abusive to me. So that's when that relationship.
So it's like she knew, like, okay, my son may be gay.
Oh, that was confirmed that day.
But that day confirmed it for her, and then like she just kind of flipped the script.
Yep. And then we no longer had a relationship after that.
Really?
So it was just, so at that point, no, we no longer had a relationship. I still lived at the house, but we didn't talk anymore.
So you're in the house and you're not talking to your mom at all?
No.
For how long?
A year. Until.
Not a word?
Not a word.
How is this possible?
Easy.
I mean, because I'm like the ignore kid. I can ignore the heck out of somebody.
I can't ignore people, but I'm not the ignore person. But that was easy for me because you knew what I just left.
Yeah. And
then you inflict more pain. To me, that was just wild.
Oh, for sure.
So that was easy for me to ignore, but I'm not the ignore. I can't ignore people. I'm not good at it.
I mean, situations is hard to ignore, but people, if we're in a room together right now, and like you just getting on my nerves, I would literally just do this.
I don't know how you do that, because it's like, it's almost like I'm not touching you. It's like, you know, they're close to your face. Like, I don't know how people actually ignore people, because I can see it. I see you. I see it.
I think I've grown accustomed to it because of my childhood, probably.
Got it. So you're used to ignoring the shit out of people.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah, I wasn't that good at it, but with her I was, because you knew where I left, and for you to inflict pain again on me, to me, was wild. So I ignored her for about a year, maybe a little more than a year.
I can't get over this. Y'all in the same house, and you're ignoring your mom.
Sure am. But it wasn't that hard, though. It's not like my mom is not a present mother, so it's not that hard.
So there's even not at one point like you want to be like, all right, you're in a good mood.
No, I want to get out. My whole point is getting out. So at that time, I get a second job. So where am I working? I'm working 2 jobs. Oh, I'm working at KFC. I'm working at Things Remembered. And I was working at Jiffy Lube. I had 3 jobs at the time, actually. Because that was I had to get out. So I was saving my money to get my own place. So when I was almost 18, so about a year and a half, I got an apartment with my friend. That's when I officially moved out. And then from there, I ain't look back. I got my own apartment with my friend. 17, 18, 19 and a half. So 2 years. Then I discover Atlanta. That's how we got here. So my friends were coming on a trip to this place called Atlanta. I'm gonna say it like this because I did not know this place exists. So they're coming on a trip to this place called Atlanta, and I'm like, "Where's Atlanta?" And it was like, "Oh, it's in Georgia." Now, mind you, I'm geographically challenged.
Right.
So
like,
like,
you know, it's New York and Florida, probably.
That's it. So where's Georgia? Oh, it's the state on top of you. Yeah, I don't know where that is. So we pull up the map, and I was like, oh, it's right there. So they're like, oh, we're going to drive. It's like 9-hour drive. I said, okay, that's far, but okay, cool. So we're coming here. We're coming here for Pride. That's the reason I came here.
Okay.
So we're here, we're partying, and I found my way to the famous Lenox Mall. When I'm at the mall, I discover, I don't know if they still have them anymore. If they do, maybe I'm dating myself, but they have these really thick apartment books called Apartment Guide.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'm walking past Macy's, and there was a stand of them, the little kiosk with those stands, and I knock one over with my Macy's bag. So I go to pick it up. This part got to be God. I'm telling you. I go to pick it up. I'm like, friend, there's an apartment in here for $499. This got to be the hood, right? Exactly. $499. I kid you not. This got to be the hood, right? So we go looking up. It's like, Smyrna. This is one of the best neighborhoods in Georgia. Oh, this got to be a joke.
$499 for an apartment in Smyrna?
2-bedroom at that.
Ain't no way.
It's a 2-bedroom, 1 bath. So I kid you not. Actually, the 2-bedroom, 1 bath, that was the larger floor plan. The smaller 2-bedroom, 1 bedroom was $429.
And the smaller was what?
$429.
And nowadays for a 2-bedroom, 1 bath in Smyrna, I'm sure the apartment business is probably still up.
They still there. Yep. It's Village of Lake Park. It's still there.
It's probably going for like what?
It's in the thousands. I know that because it went up when the Brave Stadium came. So it's in the thousands for a fact. So it's more than double, probably triple.
So you find this apartment in the apartment guide.
Yep.
You and your friend.
And I'm saying, hold on. We got to come back to look at this. So we decide that same year to make a trip back. So, maybe not the same year. That was January. So, and a few months later, we come back in January to look at these apartments. We are in love. Cannot believe this is $499.
Yeah.
And I'm absolutely in love. And I'm like, okay, we're moving here. So, I come back in March to fill out the lease, get approved, pick up my keys, all of that. So the apartment that I want, I don't get approved for that. So I applied for another one that I had seen driving by, but I didn't actually go in to look at it.
Yeah.
So I go look at the apartment, and I fill out the application. I get approved, and she tells me, okay, cool, this is the moving day. I say, okay, well, me and my friends were coming here, and we'll be in on, I'll never forget this day, March 31st, 2009. So we wake up that morning, pack all our things, drive 10 hours here in the largest U-Haul that exists.
Yeah.
And made my way to Georgia. And the rest is really, it's not history, but like,
Yeah.
that's how we got here. And I don't know how we got here, but that's how we got here.
So, your parents, do y'all still talk?
I don't talk to my father. I haven't talked to him since New Year's Eve of 2009. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's my last time talking to you.
New Year's Eve of 2009. Mm-hmm. It's been over 10 years.
Yep, it has.
How do you feel? Like, what stopped y'all's conversation?
Well, there's really nothing to talk about. For me, that experience was me. I decided to move to Atlanta because I wanted, for the first time in my life, to create my own story, my own way. Okay. No one else telling me who to be, how to be, any of that.
Yeah.
So for me, that year was me coming out to him. That's what that was. And so the conversation didn't go well. It was basically ended by him saying he doesn't have 3 sons, he has 2. And
so he just ostracized you.
Yep, and that was it.
So how are you feeling in that moment?
A lot of things. The main thing was freedom.
Okay.
I felt free. I was like, I don't even know if you remember that commercial, but it's a really interesting commercial. But basically, the weight of the world is no longer on my shoulders. That's what I felt like.
Gotcha.
I felt like I can
finally
be free.
Okay.
And that's what that was. I mean, obviously, then comes the hurt, and then the like, why is this happening? Mm-hmm. I know why it's happening, but why is it happening to me?
Yeah.
And then obviously, all of those abandonment, loss, the gamut. But my first feeling was freedom.
So you finally get the feeling of freedom, and you finally get freedom. Mm-hmm. So after you get your freedom, are you kind of like, stuck in this whole like what's next phase? Because sometimes when you finally get your freedom, you're like, okay, I got it, you're excited, and then reality sinks in again, and it's like, oh, well, what do I do next?
No, I didn't have time to do that because I'm a full adult at this time. Mm-hmm. So I have to figure out. What's funny? I didn't even have an opportunity to think or consider any of those things until 2019. It was my first time sitting down and feeling comfortable to breathe. Because for 11 years, I was just chasing the dollar. So I don't know whose idea that is, but there's an idea that you can't address your issues until your basic needs are met. I think your 5 basic needs are met. And mine were never met until 2019. Like, I never had stability. I never was comfortable. I never felt safe. I never felt at home. Any of those things until 2019. So that was when I started to be like, oh, I got some shit to fix. So that's when I started going to therapy.
So so let's talk about therapy.
Oh, therapy's amazing. God, I go every Thursday at 4:30, and it's the 1 hour of my week that I just get to like, it all out on the table.
For sure. So your first experience in therapy, because a lot of men, we don't go to therapy.
Well, my first experience with therapy, actually, I had always wanted to go to therapy. So
really?
We're going to talk about, I've never, see, that's one of the things about being a child who basically raised themselves.
Yeah.
No one ever got the opportunity to impose their views onto me. So I didn't grow up with any kind of like, oh, I shouldn't do this because this isn't cool. Like, who was going to tell me it wasn't cool? Me? So no, I didn't have that. I always wanted to go to therapy, but I never had no money.
Got you.
So I started listening to this podcast called The Friend Zone, which is what started to help me unlock, like, oh, this shit is happening to me because of past trauma.
For sure.
I didn't even know why shit was happening to me or why I was dating the people I was dating, or why I was, had certain attributes. I didn't know what those reasons were.
Yeah.
So listening to that podcast kind of started the wheels turning for me. And what happened in 2019 was I finally got my money right, so I could get insurance to get therapy. That's kind of how that all went.
Yeah.
So but I've always wanted to go to therapy. I just couldn't afford it.
I've never known anybody who always wanted to go to therapy.
Oh, always. I knew from like 12 or 13 I needed to go to therapy.
So at 12 and 13, what was your reason for wanting to go? Back then versus now.
Back then I wanted to go so that my parents could go to therapy.
So they can better understand you.
And yes, so they could be better parents. That's so fucking funny. I wanted to go to therapy so they could be better parents to me. That's why.
Got you. And then now you're going so you can be a better person to yourself.
To myself, because I realized that what has been done to me, I'm carrying it on. Mm-hmm. My therapist says trauma shows up as an experience. It doesn't show up. It doesn't show up like physically. It shows up as how you carry out yourself. So like if for example, like if your trauma is a ladybug, every time you see a ladybug, the way you react to the ladybug tells you that there's trauma around the ladybug. It's just like that. It also comes from psychology. That thing where if you do like this to a kid and he goes like this, it's because he's used to that's that same thing that I didn't know until I started going to therapy. That I was literally dating men like my father. That was some wild shit I learned in therapy, man.
Dang. So as you're experiencing, like through your relationships, you're dating men who are just like your father, and you're not even.
No, I'm not conscious of this at all. Nope.
And at this moment, or when did it click? Was it before therapy or after therapy? I mean, was it before? Yeah, before or after therapy, it clicked like.
No, that clicked last Thursday. I learned that lesson last Thursday.
Last Thursday, you realized that you've been dating your father for the past umpteenth years. And in that moment, because that's a breakthrough. What was that breakthrough like? Because having the breakthroughs are like amazing.
I mean, when I have breakthroughs, it feels like this to me. It feels like there is a how do I explain it? Mm-hmm. A breakthrough to me feels like if there was a wind tunnel happening in here right now, and all of a sudden the gates got lifted and all the wind came out, and then it just was calm. Like that's what it feels like to me when I get breakthroughs. It's like all of the things, all of the thoughts, it's like everything just clicks and makes sense, and like all the pressure goes out the room, and I can literally feel like, I don't know what these things are in your nose, but like it's like when your nose is stopped up. Yeah. That's the best way I can describe it. Right. And then it finally opens again. That's what it feels like for me.
Got you.
And I just be like,
I can finally breathe again. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can finally breathe again, and you're having these breakthroughs throughout therapy and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So every Thursday at what time again?
4:30
4:30 p.m. is therapy for you.
Yep.
That's Kirkland's time to kind of relieve himself.
Actually, Thursday is my day. My whole day. Really? I don't do anything on Thursdays, period.
Wow. Now, how do you as an entrepreneur, how do you break yourself away from that? Because
Thursday on the calendar says unavailable. Whatever you want to do, unavailable. I don't care how much money you offering me, unavailable. I ain't doing it.
I'm trying to.
You not free Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. None of them other days. Thursday is my day.
Nah, has it always been that way?
No. I used to compromise my Thursdays.
And do you feel that you compromise your Thursdays because of your past traumas of just having to compromise in the...
Yep, always was. And then I would feel shitty about it afterwards. Why did I do that? Now I'm being here with a shitty ass attitude because I don't want to be here because it's Thursday. But you knew better than shit, Kirkland. What the fuck you doing? That's the conversation I'm having to myself.
So, when's the last time you talked to your mom?
Oh, I talk to my mom now. I mean, we speak. I actually just talked to her before I walked in here.
So, how did you all relationship get mended? If it's mended or
it's not mended. It's therapy also taught me how to create boundaries.
Okay.
Healthy ones. So we have a relationship. It's just not the one I desire.
Got you. Okay. So what's that relationship like?
We talk. That's about it.
So is there like any talk about what happened? There's any
I tried to do that. It's just there's a level of consciousness that I don't feel that my mom has reached yet. And so things aren't clear to her like they're clear to me about the past, about trauma, about her physical presence not being there. Mm-hmm. I think there's a lack of accountability. Like she agrees she wasn't there, but there's no accountability as to what that not being there did. Or what it felt like in those moments where I was literally crying out for protection, and you was just like, "Yeah, I don't know what the fuck you want me to do." Like those kind of moments.
Yeah,
there's no accountability for those moments and what those pivotal things did or caused me to take on.
Mm-hmm. So like,
and all the money I got to spend to unlearn that shit.
Huh?
And all the money I have to spend to unlearn that.
Oh, for sure. I get it. I absolutely get the unlearning part because that's the hard part. That's the hard part, trying to unlearn your familial traumas. The traumas you endured through your family. That's a whole thing by itself outside of, the individual from the father, from the mother, and then you have the whole family unit, and then you have your own personal stuff that you put yourself through because you didn't know any better. Mm-hmm. It's like a whole whirlwind of unpacking and
there's so many layers to unpack. And just when I thought I was done, because really in therapy up until, I'm not even gonna lie to you, up until like June or July, like I never even touched my father in therapy. It was all about me, my life experiences, my mother. And then it wasn't until like I said, in June, I started like unpacking a little bit. And then last Thursday was like, damn. So I feel like just when I thought I was getting to a place where I was like, all right, maybe I can go to therapy like once every 2 weeks. No.
Gotta be there.
Gotta be every week. It's like,
be there.
There's more.
Dang. And with it being more, do you ever feel like you'll ever reach a point to where I'm good?
Yes, I do. At first I didn't, but now I do. Because what my therapist likes to say is that his job is to fill up your toolbox. So I feel like my toolbox is getting a little packed. Mm-hmm. I have a lot of tools. I know how to respond to things when they're happening to me. I know how to navigate certain spaces mentally. Mm-hmm. I know how to find the language for things. A lot of times I did not speak up for myself because I have the words that I thought were appropriate to use.
Yeah.
So like all of those things I have now. So no, I do feel like there's a place. I'll get to a place where I'm like, I have enough tools to get through my life.
Got you. All right, so my next question. Gay in America, gay in Black America, gay in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. So my first question is, what is it like being a gay Black man in America? Because like...
You feel like the gum on the bottom of America's shoe.
Really? Mm-hmm. Why do you feel that way?
Because as a Black man, you already feel this immense amount of pressure to always be on the straight and narrow. Mm-hmm. Because at any time, at any moment, some person could look at you and decide that your life isn't worthy today. So you have that. And then you also have to worry about how you're perceived in your own community. I like to tell people this. Before I ever experienced racism, I experienced homophobia from my own people. So for me, that struggle it's a lot of weight. It's the best way I can describe it. It's a lot of weight.
So how is it carrying the weight of, one, being a black male, two, being a homosexual black male, three, feeling the way that you feel? Like, what is that weight like? Because there's some men out there who don't understand, in our community, who understand the weight that you have to carry, because we have, as a black man, a heterosexual black male, we carry the weight of racism, all other types of weights, but it's like, you have an additional weight on your shoulder as well.
Yep. So imagine you already got 200 bricks on you, 100 bricks for everything. So black male, right? So then you add another 100 bricks for being gay, another 100 bricks being Jamaican. So I got 400 bricks on my back that I walk with every day.
Currently, to this day.
Yeah, in a sense. I mean, I think there are parts of me that are much more free. But I can't ever take that freedom for granted and pretend for a minute that there isn't someone or something in the world that's always looking to believe that I don't exist.
Got you. And
I shouldn't exist.
So does that take you back to the Invisible Man sometimes? Like, do you travel back to that person?
No, because the person I am today refuses to be invisible. So no, that makes me be more bold, more loud, more upfront, more direct, more in your face. No.
Okay. My next question. Dang, it just left me.
It will come back to you.
It was, okay, so... Dang, it was a good question too. I don't forget it. So, how do you express yourself? Like, what is the best way that Kirkland expresses Kirkland?
Through fashion.
Through fashion.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Why fashion?
Because it's an outward expression of how I feel about myself on the inside. I can't show you how I feel on the inside, like physically, but I can through fashion. I can through my art, through my photography expression. I can show you those things.
So what made you pick up the camera?
Oh, that was easy. Okay. So I started my brand 2014.
XL Tribe? Okay.
It was an idea that I had in 2014. At this time, I'm an Uber driver and I hate it.
Yeah, I hate it.
And
somebody threw up in my car and I said, I'm done.
No, I like when people throw up in my car.
No.
You didn't get paid a lot of money for that?
I did, but it's still the fact that's why I threw up in my car.
I don't care. Somebody clean that, not me.
No, sir.
I liked it. Because you know what throw up in my car meant? I ain't had to drive no more for the day. So throw up in my car right now so I make this $250 and I can go home. Okay? I'm going to get somebody to clean it for $25 at the gas station and I'm going to pocket $225 and I'm going home. And I'm making the money on that trip. So it's probably $275 really I'm making that day. And I'm out. Matter of fact, I wanted somebody to throw up in my car every night.
Heck no. Heck no. So you Uber driving.
Yeah, so I'm Uber driving at this time and I'm trying to find my way out of Uber driving. So in the process of doing this, by the way, Uber driving was like my first freedom, actually, like figuring out my first level of financial freedom. It was my first time actually being an entrepreneur because I've always been an entrepreneur, but I've been doing it like a little here, a little there, not actually focusing on being an entrepreneur, but just making a little money, not actually thinking like I can make this a 7, 8, 9 figure business, not thinking of it that way, but just making enough money to survive kind of thing.
Right.
And Uber was the first time that I realized, oh, wait a minute, I can make real money doing this. So that was my first journey. So on my way out of that door, I was like, what's next for me? At this time, I had started 4 businesses already, and I was just over it. At this point, I was like, okay, either I'm gonna find my passion or I'm gonna go back to school and find some other passion, go to work like everybody else, be miserable, retire, and die. Yeah. Because I don't know what else to do. It's not. Right. I have tried. I just couldn't figure it out. Yeah. And what was always passionate to me was that I realized how rare and special I was around the time that I was starting my business. What I realized was that the idea of having someone who was so comfortable in their skin was something that was not ever presently common to me, at like seeing it out loud. And so I was like, oh, I want to start a business like this. And I had already kind of dibbled and dabbled into fashion blogging, like my own personal style. But this time, and what I attribute my success of my business to is the fact that this is my first business that has nothing to do with me. Every other business I started was because I was trying to get rich. This is my first time starting a business that had money was not involved. Yeah. Like I didn't even have a bank account until 2019. That's how much money was not involved, because my whole objective was to inspire big and tall guys to feel better about themselves. Yeah. And so for me, that was kind of where the wheels started turning for me. And so picking up the camera came in after I started the brand. And what happened was there I go being invisible. Let me tell you about being invisible. So the first year and a half of my blog, I never showed my face. If you go back to any post before April of 2019, you'll never see my face.
What's the website?
exceltribe.com.
Okay, continue.
So I never showed my face, or sometimes I would show like this. I would show like this much of my face. So I would like have a post where I was like you can see my eyes, or have a post where you can see my nose, but never like my full face. And that was because I was hiding myself.
Got you.
It was a multitude of things, but also because I'm still hiding myself at this time. So I was looking for what they call those things, stock images. I was looking for stock images of big and tall black men, let's be specific. And in my time of finding that, one thing I found was that there were no images of big and tall black men. I was looking for Latino men, couldn't find them. I even could not find white men. I could not find any big and tall men in stock images. However, I did discover images of big and tall white men, but they weren't like fashion photos. They were doing, I don't even understand what was the purpose of these stock photos, but they were basically like, imagine in this room, they were sitting in the middle right here of this room, and they had donuts, cookies, cakes, pies, fried chicken just sitting, and they were just eating it. And he had like his shirt half up, so his belly was out. And it was like, what am I going to do with that?
Okay.
So from...
Can't try to go back that far.
Oh, you tried to?
I tried to. It's just, you get a lot on your website.
I do.
Not a lot, like it's just too much. It's just you've been really
I have
working.
A lot of posts, yes.
Yeah.
I think my first time showing the post is called Meet the CEO Kirk. I think that's the name of the title. If I remember.
You have a search button on here?
I do. I should.
Okay, I would go ahead.
So I forgot what I was saying. Oh, I was looking for big and tall men, and so I found that guy. Yeah, and I was like, wait, this is all y'all have? I was like, okay, cool. Exit the browser, went to Best Buy, bought a camera, and the rest is literally history. Like, for real. Like, that was the day that I was like, I'm going to shoot my own content to put on the site. So that's when I picked up a camera. So then I knew a couple guys in Atlanta, and I was like, hey, I don't have any money to pay you, but I'm just getting started in photography. the best I can do, I can give you free photos. And so I was like, in exchange, I just want some of those photos for XL Tribe. And that's what I did at the beginning. I just shot any big and tall guy that had great style, I would shoot him. Like that was, and then people started noticing and recognizing and like, hey, how much do you charge? I still remember my first photo shoot to this day. Person was like, how much you charge? I was like, charge? I was like, money? What's that? I was like, I don't charge. He's like, you should always charge. And I was like, for what? Like, this is my passion, like money. I was like, no. He's like, give me a price because you need to be paid. And I was just like, $50. Just like $50. Now I laugh at that. Like, what's $50? But you know, that said $50, and that was my first paid photo shoot. And ever since then, I was like, wait, hold on, who needs Uber? Wait a minute. Okay. At that time, I was charging. I think I was actually charging $150 after that shoot. I started to charge because I had officially quit Uber, and I needed money.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm gonna charge $150. So I was like, At the time, I was only doing 3 looks. So basically, I was charging $50 per look. And so I'm like, okay, if I do 3-4 of these in a week, I make the same amount of money I was making on Uber, but except for it only took me 4 hours, not 45 hours.
Facts.
Wait a minute. Wait. So if I actually worked photography and I did this full time, like $150 an hour times 40. Wait a minute, I quit. That was the day I was like, oh, I can make money taking these photos. Okay, all right, we out. And so from there, I just, kept posting the guys that I would take their photos for free. And then eventually I started getting paid clients and then kept getting paid clients. And I was like, so that's when 2019 rolled around, and I was just like, oh, I can afford health insurance now, and I can go to therapy, and I can fix myself, or I don't know, fix myself. 'Cause I'm not broken. I just whatever.
The pieces need to come together.
Pieces need to be hitting right. That's what I was looking for. So yeah, it's kind of the journey of my life.
And now you're this. So what would you call yourself now versus then? So back then you were the Invisible Man. Today Kirkland is who?
Oh, I stayed loud. I remember that comment every day of my life.
Stay loud.
And I sure do.
I think I got a new episode title. Invisible Man, stay loud.
The Invisible Man stayed loud.
No, not the. Just take off the.
Oh, Invisible Man stay loud.
I'm gonna roll with that one.
Okay.
I like it. Thanks, Kirkland.
You're welcome.
Thank you for sharing.
That is the journey. Da, da, da.
We miss anything?
No, I don't think so.
You have a really dope story.
Do I?
I think so. I love hearing people's stories.
Okay.
That's the reason behind this whole podcast, is for me to really just sit down and listen to people's stories. And just hear what they've been through and how they got through it. That's the whole premise of this podcast. It's just really like, okay, cool. Let's sit down, let's talk. Because sometimes that seat that you're in is somebody's first time telling their story to the entire world, or their first time getting it off their chest. And I want this
to be that
space. It's a safe space. So I tell people, though the title says Living Blessed, I still want you to feel as free as possible, because I remember once upon a time where I was the Invisible Man myself, where I just couldn't speak.
And it's funny, I was trying to be invisible, but I'm fat as fuck, though. That's really interesting to me. Like, I was trying to do that. It was beyond my mindset. Like, sir, you are big. How are you being invisible? Everyone can see you, but you don't think that in your mind.
But it's an internal thing.
Yeah.
It's an internal thing, because you think though we see ourselves as plus size men in the mirror, internally we still feel so small.
Yep.
We feel small because of society, or because of our parents, or because of whomever it may be. That it's we feel small.
Feel Very
small, minute, pequeño, all that good stuff.
Yes.
And it's like once
all them languages.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, once we come to a point where we find ourselves, we find our freedom. Like, you know, you found your freedom behind a camera, you find your freedom in fashion, you found your freedom in therapy. And it's like, once we find that, it's game over. Like, you can fly, you can finally be free. And it's just, even to the people who may never make it to this platform, who may never get a chance to like sit here, there's another Kirkland out there.
I believe so.
Who probably hasn't had the opportunity to be loud. And when he listens to this and he watches this and he follows you on Instagram or Facebook or wherever it may be, you give him a chance to be loud. You give him a chance to speak up for himself. And it's just, I appreciate those stories and those moments from people.
That's some dope shit, man.
Thanks. Don't know where that came from.
That's all right. The Lord blessed you. He put that on your heart.
Yes. So, gonna do a quick commercial. And then what I want you to do is close this out with something dope, powerful, cool, in formal Kirkland way.
Okay.
So this episode is sponsored by the Emboldened Institute, the only institute that I know of that sends out daily messages of encouragement, hope, and it helps you get over your traumatic situation. Not help you get over, but help you get through it, should I say. I don't believe you ever get over your traumatic situation. I would never get over anything that happened to me, but I know how I can get through it for sure. And I can, you know, like Kirkland talked about earlier, learn to just live in it and learn to get through it. So that's the only way we can do it. So through these text messages and through these programs I'm creating, you'll be able to get through your traumatic situation. So what you do is text me, 404-476-6780. That's 404-476-6780. Kirkland, close this out, brother.
All right. Well, when I was younger, we're going to start with Invisible Man. So when I was younger, there's a song by Mary J. Blige. It's called Invisible. And the words go,
I've never heard that song.
Invisibility. Well, I wanted to sing it, but I'm not. Invisibility would be great. That was me as a child. And now that I'm an adult, the words that hold true to my spirit, is Freedom by Beyonce. I'm going to keep running because a winner does not quit on themselves.
I love it.
That's it.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you. Somebody needs that. And my hope is that, you know what I'm saying?
I'm going to keep running because a winner don't quit on themselves. That's it.
We out. Peace.